Welcome. In today's lecture, we shall discuss about the arbitration agreement. Arbitration is defined as an agreement by the parties to refer to the arbitration, all or a sum of a dispute which has arisen or will arise on a future date between them with reference to the defined legal relationship, whether contractual or not. An arbitration agreement is a form when any two parties entering into a contract and disputes arise between them with regard to the contract agreement has to be solved without going to the court and with the assistance of the arbitrator who will take like a judge. The agreement ordinarily should mention who should select the arbitrator. Regarding the kind of a dispute, the arbitrator should give a decision on the place of arbitration and other aspect of the procedure. The parties also mandated to sign an arbitration agreement, the decision of which is always binding on the parties. In the event that one is a party to any contract, and if the individual seek to resolve any dispute with the help of the arbitrator without going to court, then one should make the agreement. The arbitration agreement is like contingent contract, which is basically means that this agreement come into being or become enforceable on a basis of the dispute happening between the parties. It is also only enforceable in the event that there arise a dispute between the parties. The presence of a dispute is an essential condition for the arbitration. When a parties have effectively settled the dispute, they cannot refute the settlement and invoke the arbitration clause. We shall see the essentials of the arbitration agreement. Written agreement. An arbitration agreement must be written. An arbitration agreement is considered to be in a writing if it is signed by the parties and is in the nature of the document. It can also be an exchange of a letter, telex, telegrams or other means to telecommunication. The essential feature is that it should provide a record of a agreement, the exchange of a statement of a claim and defense in which the existence of the agreement is alleged by one party and not denied by other party. If all these elements are present there, then we can say that there is a written agreement regarding the arbitration. Then another important element of the arbitration agreement is intention. Intention of the parties is of extreme importance and form the crux of the agreement. There is no prescribed manner of making an arbitration agreement, and it has been stated nowhere that the term like the arbitrator are essential prerequisite in the arbitration agreement. The Supreme Court has recently clarified its stance on this subject. The intention of the parties to refer their dispute to the arbitration should be clearly discriminated from the arbitration agreement. Then another important element of the arbitration agreement is a signature. Signature of the parties is essential to constitute an arbitration agreement. It can be in the form of a signed document by both of the parties and comprise all the terms, or it may also be signed by document by one party which contain the term and acceptance signed by the other party. It will be sufficient if one party puts her signature in the written submission and the other party accept that. The Honorable Supreme Court in a judgment in a landmark case held that the following attributes must be present in a arbitration agreement. First is that the arbitration agreement must contemplate that the decision of the tribunal will be binding on the parties to the agreement, that the jurisdiction of the tribunal to decide the right of the parties must derive from their consent or from an order of the court or from a statute, the term of which make it clear that the process is an arbitration proceeding or a process. The agreement must contemplate that the substantive right of the parties will be determined by the arbitral tribunal, that the tribunal will determine the rights of the parties is an impartial and judicial manner, with the tribunal being fair and equal on both sides. The agreement of the parties to refer their dispute to the decision of the tribunal must be intended to be enforceable in a law. The agreement must be contemplate that the tribunal will make a decision upon the dispute which is already formulated at the time when a references is made to the tribunal. Common element, then we shall see the common element included in the arbitration agreement. Seat of arbitration. The clauses state what will be the seat or a place of arbitration. The seat of arbitration is important especially in the international commercial arbitration since it determines the procedural law that govern the arbitration procedure. It need not be same as the place of a hearing. Seat of arbitration is considered to be the places where the arbitrations are take place even if the location of the hearing differs. The place where the hearing take place don't affect the chosen seat of the arbitration. Then we shall see the procedure for the appointment of arbitrators. The procedure for same has been provided under the Arbitration and Conciliation Act. It provides that a person irrespective of her nationality may be appointed as an arbitrator unless otherwise agreed by the parties. Parties themselves agreed on a procedure for appointment of an arbitrator. In the event that they fail to reach an agreement, for example, if the arbitration in an arbitration that has 3 arbitrators, each party will appoint 1 arbitrator and the other 2 arbitrators who shall be the presiding arbitrator will appoint the 3rd arbitrator. The parties themselves are assigned by the authority or the arbitral institution can make the appointment of arbitrators. In a dispute involves the international commercial transaction, it is a key that the arbitrator to be appointed shall not be of the same nationality as the parties to the dispute. This is done to protect the impartiality and retain the neutrality of the arbitrator. Then we shall see the provision regarding the language of arbitration. It is important to decide what is the language of arbitration in the agreement itself, especially in the country like India where Hindi and English are not the only 2 languages spoken. It can get extremely difficult to decide and settle the dispute. Picking the language of arbitration is additionally very cost effective because it will save your time and paying fees to the translation. Then we shall see the provision regarding the number and qualification of the arbitrator. The Arbitration and Conciliation Act 1996 allows the parties to determine the number of arbitrators, provided that the number is an odd number. In the event that they are unable to determine the number of arbitrators, the arbitral tribunal shall consist of a sole arbitrator. Then we shall see the provision regarding the types of arbitration. Parties have a choice between the institutional or a ad hoc arbitration. If the parties choose the institutional arbitration, then they have essentially agreed to be bound by the rules of arbitration institution. All such institutions have their own set of rules for the arbitration and these rules would be applicable to the arbitration proceeding conducted by them. On the other hand, in case of the ad hoc arbitrations are both agreed to and arranged by the parties themselves. No help whatsoever is sought from the arbitral institution in the ad hoc arbitration. Then we shall see the provision regarding the governing law which applicable or which govern the arbitration proceeding. This is the law that will decide the primary point of the contention between the parties to dispute. It is also called the substantive law. It is essential that the parties mention the law they want to be governed by, failing which this might be a huge cause of a concern for a future disputes. Then we shall see the provision regarding the name and addresses of the arbitration institution. If the parties to dispute wish to refer their dispute to an arbitration center, then it is essential that they should mention the name and addresses of the arbitration facility in a clear and unambiguous word. Such a mistakes can make the arbitration clause void. Then we shall see the provision regarding the number of arbitrators. The Arbitration and Conciliation Act 1996 states that the parties can determine the number of arbitrators they wish to appoint. However, thus this should not be an even number. If they are unable to do so, the arbitral tribunal shall consist of a sole arbitrator. The statutory requirement of an odd number of arbitrators can be moved away from, which means that if they wish to exercise an opinion of the choosing even number of arbitrators and agree to not to challenge the award thereafter, the award rendered would be valid and binding. If neither of the parties challenge the composition, then they can challenge to the composition must be raised by a party before the time period prescribed under the Act, failing which it will not be open to the party to challenge the award after it has been passed by the tribunal. The Act enables the tribunal to rule on its own jurisdiction. A challenge to the jurisdiction of the arbitral tribunal cannot be raised after the submission of the statement of the defense, although the party might have participated in the appointment of the arbitrator and might have appointed the arbitrator himself. Both the parties can choose the arbitrators. Then we shall see the provision regarding the qualification of the arbitrator. The parties should ideally follow an agreed procedure for appointment of the arbitrators. However, if that fails and an application is filed in a court for the appointment, the Chief Justice or the person or an institution designated by them in appointing an arbitrator shall have a due regard to any qualification required of the arbitrator by the agreement of the parties. A clause in the agreement which provides for the settling the dispute by the arbitration through arbitrators having a certain qualification or in a certain agreed manner is ordinarily followed by the court and not derogated from unless there are strong grounds for doing so. The appointment of an arbitrator can be challenged within 15 days after he learns of the constitution of the arbitral tribunal or after becoming aware of the circumstances that he does not possess the necessary qualification. It is not open to parties, especially in a government contract, to contend that appointment of the only one arbitrator only by one of the party to dispute will violate the principle that no man can be a judge in his own case if that party have voluntarily entered into the contract with the knowledge of his fact and had thus accepted the terms and condition of the contract. The question of its maintainability before the arbitral tribunal, stating that the arbitration clause in a contract between the parties is void and unforeseeable law cannot be accepted. Then we shall see the provision regarding the requirements for the filing an application for the appointment of an arbitrator. The essential precondition to be satisfied before an application for appointment of an arbitrator by court is a filed are. There should be an arbitration clause in the contract in a term stated in an act. The party filing an application should have a knowledge of the arbitration agreement. There is a dispute between the parties in relation to the contract containing the arbitration agreement. The notice invoking an arbitration clause has been issued and received by another party. Then existence of a dispute, a precondition for a right to seek a appointment. A dispute or a difference is a precondition of right to arbitrate and seek an appointment. Mere disagreement on a central issue is sufficient to constitute a dispute. A claim need not be necessarily arised, and merely raising a claim cannot satisfy the precondition to dispute. An arbitration agreement as defined under section 7 of the Act is a condition precedent in order to existence to power to appoint an arbitrator or the arbitrator or the arbitral tribunal. Section 11 of the Act provides for the procedure to appoint an arbitrator or arbitrators with the court assistance. The primary objective of a seeking court interference under the Act is so that securing the constitution of the arbitral tribunal can happen expeditiously. Parties can agree upon a procedure for the appointment of a sole arbitrators. or the arbitrators under subsection 2 of a section 11 and can approach the court in the event that they do not have any procedure. In this way, in today's lecture, we discuss about the arbitration agreement. Thank you very much.